And we are live in five, four, three, two, one. Welcome, wizard, warrior, wanderer, wayfarer, and wildcat alike. This is Knowledge Lecture 1 for the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Eastern Star Division. Today, we shall examine magic. Crowley says that magic is the art and science of creating conformity in conformance to one's will, the magical intent, the wizard's will. The reader can study the rules and principles which make possible, with proper application and execution, the realization of formidable things. We now pass on to the sexual operations, so called, which cannot be efficacious without all that has previously been explained. These operations are the basis of the mysteries known under the name of internal alchemy and derive from the esoteric arts of the Orient. One can practice this for many diverse reasons, but we limit ourselves to these seven principles. First is the charging of talismans. Take a moment in a deep breath. Three, two, one. Inhale, hold, and relax. Sink even deeper into your relaxation, charging of the talismans and other types of elixirs and tinctures. Number two, the regeneration of the vital force and reinforcement of your magnetic field. A very simple operation of a banishing ritual has been outlined previously. The drawing of the circle and the emission of great force. Third, the production of a magnetic fluid to the effect the submission of man to the woman or woman to the man. This is a love potion, as it were. Number four, the refinement of the power of your senses. Supersensual experience is a definite goal of the magician and supernatural powers. So, number four, the refinement of these powers of the senses should be taken into consideration. Number five, the determination by volantia of the sex of a child can be conceived or reinforced its mental and material capacities and qualities. So, by way of the E or intention, you can determine the sex of your child. The provocation of superhuman visions, spiritual and sublime, is number six. These visions might foresee your future or the future of the entire world, a, a nation or country. Grasp upon these. They come to you in the early morning hours in the dreaming mind. Decree upon them, if you will. If you check the material at buymeacoffee.com/ Frank Monday, you will see that in the weekly syllabus, we have certain practices that will be outlined and highlighted. In week one, the first 10 day, we have a knowledge lecture about VDP. These are volantia, decreeism, and possism. Volantia can be used for many operations. It's the primary principle, the magician's, the magical intent, the wizarding will, to know, to dare, to will, to keep silent, and to go forth. Number seven is the realization of a project of or special desire of the operator in any order of idea. So, whatever thou wishest, thou shalt receive it. The basic formula is to ask of God what you want. The ASK. It is an acronym for ask and you shall receive, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. ASK. Ask. Supposing that the student has studied and understood all that we have revealed in preceding challenges, we give hereafter the 20 principal rules that are necessary to learn in order to properly understand the special exercises of magic, magical union, as considered with a prayer. The man who lives with a woman in perfect harmony understands easily, and he who has a good time being with his companion will subtly detect all of those emanations coming forth from the divine will that shall guide him along the correct path. He who liveth alone can detect this from within himself by way of gnosis. He that liveth estranged from society will not benefit from this particular branch of magic and should seek out more hermetic styles. A magnetic woman, in all purity and sentiment and intention, is reminded of other circumstances of life that not are abysmal but profound, for it also comes toward God and perfection, and moving toward God is the simple supplication of prayer. And in this radiance, all of their combined forces touch the root of the opposite sex. For when the sexual act is perfect, the union of man and woman succeeds in all spheres of their respective beings, and their force increases tenfold in the higher worlds. This prayer is always exhausting, but it is necessary that the man, the vow, the object of the prayer be formulated and imagined clearly. If the man and the woman imagine the same object or wish the same thing, this is better. But the prayer of one of the two souls can also be efficacious. For if the woman is entranced in the orgasm, the creative power is the same. There are 20 principles that will be revealed along these 100 days or 10 days, 2 for 10 days. We start here, and within 5 days we shall reveal the next. Let us look at the VDP of this lesson, but take a moment with me, if you would, aspirant, to relax. Center yourself, sit firmly, feet in front of you. If you are driving, do not close your eyes. If you are in a position which you may, then if you choose to do so now, you can close your eyes and just listen along and take a deep inhale and hold for 3, 2, 1. Relax and exhale. Continue rhythmic, natural breathing. Empower yourself with upright posture, feet firmly planted on the earth in front of you. The first element, contemplate it. Earth, centering, guiding, channeling, solidifying, condensing. Now think of air, our second elemental grade, and inhale. Hold deep within the body, stimulating the orgasmic waters, knowing that 3/4 of your being is water, in fact. Finally, as you exhale, enliven the mind with the spirit of Varantia. Every student who wishes to penetrate the mysteries must, from the beginning and in all circumstances, learn to advance on the path of wisdom, thereby becoming a master and not a slave. It is necessary to seek, moreover, to constantly expand your intellectual horizons and your forces of individual action, your mental forces and your magnetic forces, as well as your psychic forces. Within your sphere of direct control, there are only three things: your thoughts, your words, and your actions. These can reach out into the next concentric circle, your sphere of influence, touching them and setting off ripples that will reach all the way across planes and dimensions and into the sphere of no control. This is the area where magic takes place as it rebounds to you. You must learn to exercise your diverse capacities and your will in a calm fashion without nervous exhaustion. The nervous energy of youth depletes rapidly if you do not mitigate this outpouring into the world. The E or intention is what we call Valentia. We find it in the exact example of the irresistible force of the thunderbolt that breaks and burns but never tires. Imagine, if you will, you're sitting down to relax, putting yourself into a meditative trance, verging on sleep, the hypnagogic state. Within this, you feel the paralyzing jolt of sleep paralysis trying to awaken you. Get in tune with it. That is the divine energy awakening within you, the Kundalini rising rapidly into the brain. This can enliven and invigorate the mind to produce visions of a supersensual sort. A student must develop for himself this elemental force, this volantia, which is passive when it obeys the order of the intellect, self disciplined, exempt of all emotion. This force must be developed and fortified by a mechanical procedure in order that some emotion does not come to influence the student at the heart of the exercise, which must be practiced every day consecutively for 100 days. Take a deep breath with me, aspirant. Inhale and hold for three, two, one. Exhale. This Volantia force must be developed and fortified. To do so, we will practice the visual activity. Hang a white disc on the wall in front of you where you can sit and meditate and not be disturbed by the profane white disc of approximately 2 hands width, which has a black dot of a half inch to an inch at the center. Stare at the black center disc for 60 seconds, remaining perfectly motionless. Do not blink. Relax your body, keep your posture correct, hands upon your thighs or knees. Chin slightly tucked, tongue to the roof of your mouth. Swallow deeply. Inhale and concentrate. The eye fixation point of this disc should be slightly above eye level. This will fortify the capacity for concentration and also for your attentive factor. These two are parallel. In the beginning of the major arcana, we see awareness. You become aware of the magical practice. And number one, the magician is attention and concentration. When the prescribed minute elapses, take a deep breath, relax, and turn to face without changing the position of the eyes towards a white surface on which the optical illusion we see in the same disk will appear. Notice the changes there. You're staring at a black dot upon a white field for 1 minute concertedly every day at the same time. You should do this practice in the early morning hours after you have awakened thoroughly and invigorated the body. Take notes on what occurs. This same exercise may be made with the aid of a magical mirror, in the middle of which is fixed a small white disc. The willed effect is thus obtained more easily and quickly. A figure appears suddenly on the polished surface of the mirror, and you may question this figure that you see. Additionally, advanced practice, you could try oscillating the level of light in the room, opening and closing the curtains, and other sensory stimulus. But for the first 10 days, try only this activity. No danger is attached to this practice, but there are students who cannot support the visions they see and draw from the mirror. At this time, you should not overly assert any type of meaning to what's occurring. One obtains by this sensor the concourse of electricity, which consolidates the attention and favors the quality of the concentration and is rendered more positive. It is necessary to repeat this exercise during a period of 33 days before trying to operate with metaphysical objects. These exercises, designed to develop volantia, will describe further on, and to develop decretism and paucism. You must approach these exercises with perfect seriousness, for the least failure on the magical path provokes the nerves and affects the memory. We repeat here, do not continue if you experience any anguish or negative fear. And there's a bit of a caveat here. If you have any psychological problems or hallucinations or drug addiction of any kind, do not proceed. Next shall be decreeism. The second principle of power that the student of magic must acquire bears the name of decretism. This is the capacity to give unavoidable orders, inserting any unnecessary desires, thoughts, sentiments to provoke verbal declaration. It is favorable for the creation of living entities, to move them, to make them appear and disappear. to raise them and make them fall, to make them stop and to make them steal. If we order them thus, it is the dictatorial quality, the positive power of the human being, without which we cannot achieve results good or bad. We may take a meandering path here to imagine you yourself as a child, or maybe you are a parent and you know of this power of decretism, which and where a teacher or a parent tells you suddenly to sit down and shut up, and they say it with the weirding way, the voice, and you immediately all thoughts go silent in your mind. You sit in great fear. This is decretism, but it's not used against others in this sense. It's used as an invocation into the universe to get a response from the subtle nature of the universe. It is very important that at the instance you decree, the imagination must be absolutely banished of all other preoccupations, and that no emotion should come to influence your decree, which is strikes as a lightning flash, freely traversing any space, oceans, deserts, ineffably focusing on the designated target, whether it be a living being or an inert object. The duration of the willing order, from the moment of departure to the moment of arrival, should not exceed 3 to 7 seconds. 3 to 7 is the magical range. It is 5 plus or minus 2. An absolute moron can easily juggle 3 ideas at one time, the Trinity. But genius level intelligence, a mind that is capable of an encyclopedic understanding, can control 7 variables. So, thus, the range of intelligence only goes from 3 to 7. If it is a good or evil energy of the human soul, it is also the most formidable force of man, who can employ it for good or evil. There is danger in it. The force is submissive to the laws of periodicity. The curve that it makes is elliptic, and its nature is magnetic. This explains, among other things, why the speaker of decrees intensely feels the backlash in the senses of the good or evil that it provokes infallibly. It will come back on him. Imagine, if you would, you see a beautiful girl and you yell out to her, "What great beauty!" or "Damn, you're hot!" Right? You immediately feel that reaction. The same is true in angry words. You say to someone, "Fuck you." You immediately feel that fuck also fucking you, right? That's why in the English language, oftentimes these days, people more enlightened will say, "fuck me," because upon executing this decretic words, you also fuck yourself. The evil that can be made from a decreed power is very great. My own personal experience, it has brought to end several people that opposed me and directly offended me or directly injured me in some way. And I decreed upon them, not even with words, but only with intent, that they should be chastised by the universal energy, depart from the material sphere, and become unliving. The rapidity of with which it occurred was so dynamic that it scared even me. But I knew that it was just, because if not, it would not have been done. Students should be counseled that the first test they are forced to decretism for themselves, and do not pass to decretism amid at others until you have experienced and achieved a real purification of the soul. Now, by way of analogy, if you were to cut off the head of a snake, its poison is still present in its body. And if you were to eat it without removing the glands, it could poison you. This force is naturally inherent in the subject who is victorious in the ordeal of volantia, and this progressively augments its use. Volantia must be concentrated upon first and foremost before you decree. Personally, I would recommend at least 9 months for any practitioner to concentrate upon volantia before moving on to decreeism. But in this first knowledge lecture, we will cover all three in order to familiarize the adept with the precepts by with which we move forward in the esoteric order of Dagon. If you are turning in for the first time, please don't let it be your last time. Tune in often and study the pathways of magic. Me, your humble host, Brother Francis Lunas Aristeas of the Ordo Templi Astarte and the Esoteric Order of Dagon. The third principal power that is to be developed in adepts is Hausism. It's the realization of the receptive state which emits by means of the precise position of the body and is determined by zodiacal orientation, accompanied by a propitious state of idea and sentiment. This is then the science of the magic gesture. It is difficult to acquire, but it gives results that are of great importance. So follow along with me, if you will, adept, aspirant, wayfarer, and wanderer alike. At the the volantic point, we're focusing out the energy from the third eye into the triangle of art. We're casting out the energy, just orienting ourselves and becoming aware of the potential energy of the strike. Decreeism is the lightning strike, the flashing out of your power that your Valantia has centered upon. Then what is Possism? Not only the gesture, but the reception. It is the receptive state, the bringing back in of those energies, the reeling in of the fish, as it were. Our fishing is a perfect analogy in this situation. You have your rod and reel, you've prepared your worm, you put it upon your hook, you look out to where you would cast, and you cast. And as it strikes the water, you begin to draw it in. But this drawing in requires no effort on the part of the practitioner. In fact, the only effort is to release all effort. To obtain this power, it is indispensable to first develop the attention and the capacities of concentration and abstraction, just as with Volantia and Decretism, as has been shown in the preceding exercises. An adept who is expert in Possism, who wishes to give or receive an attacking blow, a kiss, a caress, can place his body in a determined position and just give the necessary facial expression by means of the nostrils and the mouth as an actor in the scene. He seeks his spirit with total preoccupation and imagination. separated from his goal and waiting for the willed realization that accomplishes that goal by virtue of the law that is realized through the higher planes, metaphysical, mental, and etheric, which, all being one, reproduces equally on the physical plane and vice versa. For we do not dwell only in the present moment, we project into the future and arrive from the past. All these things explode from the present above us, raining down, trickling down moment by moment into our present moment, and settling into the coalesced past beneath us. It is characteristic of the habitual human state of mind to experience the simultaneous convergence of many diverse thoughts. This is why, in certain instances, the student must exercise Paucism for years before being allowed to be given proof of the capacities in this sense. To exercise Paucism, there are a series of exercises. I will delineate and highlight these further in future lectures, but at this time, let me just say that it's difficult to explain to the profane the sensations that are accompanied with this within the mental sphere. The poet always knows something of it, for this sensation resembles that which is hereafter imaginary landscapes and persons, but it is not necessary to know in advance what the sensation is. Persevere, and you will know. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Going forward, beloved wayfarer, wanderer, wildcat alike, continue to practice along the pathways of magic. Join me in this 100 days of consecutive, concentrated, concerted effort to awaken ourselves to the real mystery of magic. It is a very simple process, as I've told you before. Ask, and you shall receive. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. You have the master key, the silver key that will unlock the pathways of the snake den. Have you discovered how many troglodytes dwell within the fathomless cavern? Have you lifted your head up to see the revelation of the angels? Can you harmonize and equilibrialize the spirits within you? And I do believe that you can. Wayfarer, please go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. You can see it down here at the bottom of the screen. Check me out there. I've got a syllabus for the course. And together we shall wander along the pathways of magic and learn more and more as we go. Until next time, Wayfarer, be well, do good magic, and relax. Into the abodes of the future we go, ad astra per aspera. Until next time, bye for now.